Hey, it's Dave Brown here, host of Now with Dave Brown on AMI. Check out this latest highlight from the show. There was a significant omission in the federal budget a couple of weeks ago, a lack of mention of the Federal Canada Disability Benefit. Rabia Khedr is the National Director of Disability Without Poverty and joins us now with her reaction. Hey, good morning, Rabia. Thank you for making time for us today.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me.
So we know the government had laid this out as a priority in the speech from the throne in 2020. We know there was even a pending legislation before the election was called. What was your reaction when you found out it wasn't in the budget?
It wasn't a huge surprise to us at Disability Without Poverty because we knew that funds were committed in the spring 2021 budget for a 3-year consultation process that is underway. $11.9 million were committed to that. And we didn't expect more money necessarily to be allocated or announced for a Canada Disability Benefit until that consultation process specific to the benefit would be completed and there would be the actual bill would be tabled. And as you know, the bill was introduced and died on the table last year because Parliament was dissolved for an election.
So do you think the commitment is still there, even understanding some of that surrounding context?
I think it would have been reassuring to people with disabilities and their allies and supporters in this country if there was some sort of reference or mention to the Canada Disability Benefit and the work underway, but we weren't expecting a dollar figure, like I said, unless they were going to allocate a specific dollar figure into the joint design element that we're advocating for. We were hoping to see that. That did not happen. But the commitment is there. We are reassured by Minister Carla Qualtrough, who is a person with a disability, has lived experience. This Canada Disability Benefit is I think, a part of the legacy she wants to leave in that role for people with disabilities. So her commitment is there. We are assured that everybody's doing everything they can to move things along, like the consultation process is happening. We have been a part of some of those consultations. The chair of Disability Without Poverty, Michelle Hewitt, has been a part of the consultation roundtable held with academics. I've been a part of the consultation held with racialized people with disabilities, as have other members of Disability Without Poverty's leadership team, and our partners have been a part of the agency roundtable. And those conversations are continuing. So the work is going on. There just wasn't a big public reference to the benefit in the throne speech and in the spring budget. And unfortunately, that disappointed a lot of people with disabilities. But we're doing our part to make sure that nobody forgets the Canada Disability Benefit by asking the question, where is the bill? Everywhere we can.
Yeah, it sounds like the foundation is being laid, right? The work is being done. But I wonder if I can dive just a little deeper into maybe the important symbolic nature of not having it mentioned. I mean, that's one of the things that I think would really give people the reassurances when, even if it's not a top line item, that at least maybe gets a sentence or two somewhere, right?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. People might have felt good if there was a reference or reassurance, but there was a lot of reference to disability. There was, money allocated to Special Olympics. There's, again, investment in employment programs. The one good thing in this budget was a lot more reference to disability in non-disability specific programs. So the impact of the work that's being done to make sure that accessibility and disability inclusion is embedded in how government does business is starting to resonate. So, there was reference to the budget, to disability in the affordable housing announcements, in the the mental health announcements, in funds allocated to women's personal hygiene products, stuff like that. So accessible childcare, for example. So in childcare dollars, there's an allocation to ensure that accessibility in childcare centers is a priority. So there was a lot, but not what we as the broader disability community would have liked to see in terms of the benefit, because that's the one that impacts a vast majority of people right now.
Yeah, that's what you've identified there is the intersectionality that we're always advocating for, the understanding that disability goes across departments, that it can't just be a singular department. And it does speak to that lens that the federal government mentioned in 2020 in that throne speech. So it does speak to sort of the wheels continuing to move forward on that front. Rabia, I am curious a little bit here in regards to the benefit. I'm sorry that I keep coming back to the benefit, but I have a genuine curiosity. As you say, a lot of the foundation and a lot of the work is being done. Do we have any sense whether or not the provinces are on board with the very important notion that any kind of federal benefit is not going to result in provincial clawbacks?
Well, we are organizing around this. We have organizers, Kate and Nusha out in British Columbia for Disability Without Poverty, working at a provincial level. We have Andrea in Alberta working at a provincial level. I'm building capacity and connections in Ontario while also, doing the whole national thing. We have, people on the ground in Quebec, working on a Quebec-specific strategy and a French strategy. And our leadership team is across the country in different provinces. So, we're starting the conversations on the ground. We're working at gaining more resources to have more comprehensive outreach and capacity building through organizers. We are definitely trying to send a loud, clear message to provinces, no clawbacks. And we believe that's the same message that the federal government is sending. We know that there may be informal conversations happening between the federal government and provinces. They're not into the formal negotiations because there's no bill on the table. So the question is, where is this bill? And that's what we keep asking MPs and ministers and everybody we can. We need this bill, and we need this bill introduced really quickly, because people with disabilities can't wait for this benefit any longer. Poverty doesn't wait.
Absolutely. Hey, Rabia, I know you and your colleagues do a lot of amazing work. You even mentioned a lot of the national approach and the different provincial work-ins that are happening. Where should people go to learn more about the work that you and your colleagues are doing?
disabilitywithoutpoverty.ca. And Disability Without Poverty is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So we're out there. People can find us, and get in touch with us, sign up for our newsletter. Whenever we have virtual events happening, they should get connected. If they have stories of living in poverty as a person with a disability, we would also like to hear those stories so we can share those stories. We can support them in publishing those stories. And how we're going to impact people in this country is by raising awareness first and foremost. People need to know that there are people with disabilities living in poverty who are going month to month having to choose between, can I afford to live, or should I be choosing medical assistance and dying as the cheaper option?
Rabia, thank you for making the time for us today. I know you're very busy and you do a lot of important work, so thank you for filling us in.
Thank you.
Do you want to dive into more conversations like this? Watch Now with Dave Brown weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on AMI TV, or download the podcasts wherever you listen. Do you want to dive into more conversations like this? Watch Now with Dave Brown weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on AMI TV, or download the podcasts wherever you listen.